welcome to Two Balls and a Mic. Today we have an amazing interview with the great Gabriel Sotelo, who is, check marks. I love check marks. I take check marks seriously. Check mark on Instagram. You can find him at Gabriel Sotelo. Go ahead and say hi, everybody. Mr. Gabriel Sotelo, how you doing, man?
Hey, how we doing, Tony, Alejandro? Un placer estar aquí con ustedes. Happy to be here with you guys. And thank God for AC. I just got to say that, dude, because it's like 104 in Austin today. So I am very happy and thankful for an air-conditioned room.
So for those who don't know, Gabriel Gabo over here is from TJ in Tijuana and from this area, right?
Tijuana. Exactamente. Ahí mero.
So
I was born enfrente de las Humaderas, so those who are from Tijuana know. Boulevard Agua Caliente, La Taquería Las Humaderas, Sanatorio San Francisco. Like, I literally was born smelling tacos. Homie, it doesn't get more Tijuana than that.
Definitely. I grew up right around Aguascalientes, around la 20 de noviembre por la Nexa Buenavista, en el Fogol, and then grew up playing in Furati and Romero Manso. Hey, trust, Furati when I used to be on the other side of the border before it got moved. So, pa que veas. So, man. I like that you recognize that. So, welcome on, man. Really appreciate it. Thank God for AC. We actually sold enough hats to buy an AC. It's right there, and it's keeping us cool here.
Oh, there we go.
For us, 75 is extremely hot, so.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Con esta insulación.
It cracks me up how it changes, though, no? Like, at first, I remember it was 75, 78, and I was dying. And now, we just got back from, we were able to take a couple of days off and enjoy some time with the family. It was 89, and we're like, oh, this is nice. It's only 89 today.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, we've gotten used to Texas now. When you can say that 89 is okay, I mean, it's yeah, exactly.
I see you guys like those Mexicali folk. That just live there. Como si nada. Oh, estuvo ya 110 nomás. Algo bien. Oh, sí, vato. But yeah, let's a little...
You know what they call Mexicali? La tierra de los huevos fríos, man. Sorry.
Oh, sí, vato. Sí,
Mexicali, you know?
And the land of the best Chinese food.
Beer in between the legs.
Sí, vato.
Oh, yeah,
and best Chinese food in anywhere other than in China from what I've had. But yeah, let's get a little bit into it, man. So on your Instagram profile, it says retired sports director and anchor. So you want to tell us a little bit how that went about, a little bit about your career and journey and where we're at with you right now.
Sure. So I grew up spending a lot of time with my grandparents on my mom's side of the family. So it was very easy, bro. Every Friday, we'd see Friday Night Boxing in Televisa en el Canal 12.
Mm-hmm. Tu canal.
And then, tu canal. And then I would wake up on Saturdays to, just hearing soccer, dude. Están jugando los Pumas, está jugando Chivas, está jugando el Atlante. So my grandmother, she rooted for Chivas, and my grandfather, he rooted for Atlante. Now, when they would play each other, it was the most horrible thing, and I could only, as a grandson, only pray that they would tie, because then I wouldn't hear the end of it from any side. So I just got lost in the game thanks to my grandparents, and honestly, that's their heritage for me. That's what they gave me. They gave me a passion for sports. They gave me an appreciation for the game at a very young age, and I just got lost in it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not one of those guys that is gonna say like, oh no, I was good at soccer, bro, but then I hurt my knee. Nah, that's not me, dude. I sucked. Like, I knew it was bad,
Same.
So it was never in the cards for me to be a professional soccer player. So at a very young age, I was like, I want to be the guy that gets to tell the story. I want to be the guy that that's on TV telling everybody what's going on. I want to be that guy that is there where everybody's saying like, oh man, I want to be there. So it started very young age. In high school, yo fui a la prepa en el CUT, en la Colonia Altamira, ahí enfrente de la Casa de la Cultura.
Yep. Where I learned how to waltz. I practiced hacer el vals de la quinceañera de mi hermana en la Casa de la Cultura. So that holds a special place in my heart.
So there you go, bro. You got some finesse, man. There, I love it. Yeah.
I'm amazing.
So, I started since there studying communications and everything. And then once I graduated high school there, I went on to la UABC. En la UABC estudié comunicación. Antes de que se fuera a facultad. Todavía era Escuela de Humanidades, ahora ya es Facultad de Humanidades. And then, I started working on local television at the age of 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then got married and everything. And I mean, it's really crazy just how God puts everything into place, bro. So I was dropping off my wife at a baby shower, and I was looking for something to do. And I call a friend of mine. Is like, hey man, I got a couple hours to kill. What's up? You want to do something? It's like, dude, sorry, I'm in Palm Springs. I can't go. Then I called another friend, and he just like, dude, you got to be here. There's a contest going. I know you're gonna win it. And he hung up. I didn't know what contest. I didn't know where to go. So I call him up again. It's like, dude, what's going on? He's like, oh yeah, sorry. So get here. So Univision and Verizon had a contest for sending a reporter to the South Africa World Cup in 2010.
Oh wow!
I went there. I auditioned. It was like a 30-second clip. Like pretend you're outside from Soccer City Stadium and do a live 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh snap!
And they recorded me. I did my live. I think like a good month went by, and at the time I was working in Tijuana, so I got a call, and they were like, "Gabriel Sotelo, sí, pues te queremos decir que eres un finalista, you're a finalist." And honestly, I thought they were just playing with me, man. So I hung up because I was working.
Oh man!
And then the lady called me again, and she's all like, "Gabriel Sotelo?" Y yo, sí. Por favor, no estén jugando conmigo. Estoy trabajando. I'm working right now. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
And my friends knew that I've always been a sports fan. And I told everybody I went to that contest. And then I felt kind of weird and bad because I never got a call back. So, she got super mad because I hung up again. And then the third time, she's all like, me vuelves a colgar y nos vamos a ir con otra persona y no sé qué. And it was really funny because I eventually ended up working with this lady. And anyway, so she gives me a call. She told me I was a finalist. They did a Zoom call. Not Zoom, because Zoom didn't exist.
Yeah,
Skype. They did a Skype call. Yeah, they did a Skype interview. They did a 20 questions under 2 minutes, trivia thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then after those two, they had an online voting. And to this day, it haunts me, bro. The question that I got wrong out of the 20 was, what nationality is Jose Mourinho? I got it wrong.
Portuguese.
I know that now.
I'm sorry.
I'm never gonna forget. Yeah, I'm never gonna forget that now. Trust me, man. But when they asked, because the questions were quick, it's like, okay, because they wanted to make sure I wasn't Googling them and looking them up or anything, or had anybody there like telling me the answers. So it's like when they said, "What is Jose Mourinho?" I don't know why I kind of I froze and I freaked, and I was like, Jose Mourinho, is brasileño? And they're like, no, mal. It's like, oh, wait, am I eliminated or anything? So anyway, so they had the voting going on. They had me go over to Univision LA, and then the amazing Bernardo Osuna, he was working at Univision at the time. He still hadn't jumped to ESPN. He saw me there. He's like, hey, man, come on. You're one of the finalists, and come with me to the studio. I'm like, wait, are you going to do more questions? What's going on? They're miking me up. They're turning on the cameras. I'm like, bro, I'm freaking out, man. Like, what's next?
Yeah.
And he's all like, wait, just follow my lead. Dude, Bernardo, seriously, one of the most awesome, kind-hearted guys you'll ever meet. He's like, dude, just follow my lead. You're fine. Don't worry. He's like, okay, ¿cuál es tu nombre? ¿Y por qué la gente pues tiene que verte si vas a Sudáfrica? Yo, me encanta el fútbol, esto ha sido un sueño y quiero ir. Y, pues qué bueno porque vas a ir. Dude, I freaked, bro.
Damn.
So I started balling there on camera. My cousin and my wife went with me, and they were like to my left, and I just looked at them, and like even my cousin, dude, he started crying, bro. And it's like we're all crying and everything, and it's like I hugged Bernardo. I didn't even know him, and I'm just like hugging him, and but it was cool, dude. So I went to South Africa for 3.5 weeks. I got to go to 15 games. I got to be there for the first match, Mexico versus South Africa. And that was how I started covering sports, and it was really a learn, not even how to swim. It was like more of a learn how to scuba dive before you can even walk or run. The first day I remember I called my wife and I'm like, I don't know what I got myself into. I'm way over my head. And I got the hang of it eventually. And then while I was over there, the producers told me, it's like, hey man, if you want to make a career out of this, you got to move. You you got to move. Because I was living in Tijuana, and I wanted to make a career out of it. So at the moment, we were just married. It was just my wife and myself. None of my 2 kids were stillborn. We'd been married for like 5 months. So I told her, hey, you know what? We don't have debt. We don't have anything. So let's just go to the States. So I sold my car, a 2000 Honda Civic that to this day I still miss because it was a stick shift and it had a sunroof.
Oh, yes. And to have those in Tijuana and not have it broken into or stolen is rare. Like, rare.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. So I sold that and we moved to the States. I paid my immigration with what I got from my car. I sold it for $2,500, and the immigration costs. The first part was like $2,250, so I still had $250. So I felt like I was the richest man ever. Went through the whole immigration process, and then it was a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
It was 11 months of living in. My in-laws helped us out at first to get started. We transformed the basement into a studio, and it was 11 months of waiting because I couldn't cross back to Tijuana because I didn't have any papers, and then I still couldn't work in the States because I didn't have any papers. And a lot of people tried helping me out, and I'm going to be honest, not because I'm a saint, but because I was afraid, dude. I'm like, I'm doing my immigration process, and I don't want to mess that up by, getting a couple of bucks on the table. So my wife said, like, wait, hold on, something will come that you like. And so then my working permit came in. So, dude, I applied to Costco, I applied to Office Depot, I applied to Staples, I applied, and I got no calls back.
Oh, man.
And I was so frustrated, man. And my wife, she sat me down and she was really awesome, man, because she told me, it's like, I know you need a job and I know that we need the income, but stop applying to things that I know that you don't want to do with your life. So wait, and I know that something will come along. So my archangel, the same guy that called me to invite me to that contest, he called me up again. And this is like a year later. He's like, hey, man, they're looking for somebody to be my co-host in the morning show here in Despierta San Diego. You want to do a live audition? I was like, what's that? Well, you come in, you be my guest, and you do an audition live. Wow. It's like, okay, great. So I bought a polo shirt, I bought a nice pair of slacks and stuff like that, and I went with him to do a live audition, and I got the gig, man. The next day, the news director called me, and she's like, all right, we'll have you on part-time, and we'll see where we go from there. So I started working at Univision San Diego, doing Despierta San Diego. And I was there for 4.5 years, give or take. And ESPN had their own version of their contest called ESPN Dream Job. So when Dream Job rolled around, I'm all like, I gotta get into this. Like I wanted to do a jump. I wanted to grow. So I got into Dream Job. They gave me permission there for my work, and I went to audition in LA. Did the whole process and everything. Was amazing. And then I got picked as one of the 8 finalists. Made the round of 8, made the round of 6, and then we got down to the semifinals, which, man, to this date still is one of the most amazing experiences. So for the semifinal, the 4 guys each got sent to a particular spot. Like one got sent to Miami, one got sent to LA, one got sent to Bristol, and I got sent to Mexico City. So it was amazing. Like I got to meet Jose Ramon Fernandez. I got there to the studio, and the first thing I wanted to do, like I saw the table, and it cracks me up because the guy that was walking me in, he saw my face, and he's like, "You want to sit down at the table?" I'm like, "Yeah, That's
a dream.
I sit down at the table, and the first thing I do, like thousands of people have done, it's like, "Yo soy Gabriel Sotelo y esto es por Center." And to this day, dude, I still got that clip, bro. I'll share it with you guys. I'll send it to you guys on the Instagram. I still got that clip, bro.
Don't tell me you don't want to do that?
I still got that clip.
I want to do that.
Yeah, man. So
that's amazing.
It was fun. Unfortunately, I didn't go on to the final. I got booted off in the semifinal. But I was on Fútbol Picante. And, Fútbol Picante is a very viewed show. Everybody follows. Anybody who's in sports follows that show.
Yeah.
So that gave me a platform, man. I got booted off of Dream Job, and I think like 2 days later, I get a call from Univision LA again. The sports director told me, he's like, hey, man, the news director, sorry, Marco Flores, and another amazing person who's just, I'm so thankful for, dude, is just opening so many doors and taking a chance on me because, Univision LA, dude. That's
huge.
LA is a huge market, and taking a chance on somebody who really doesn't have any pedigree or anything, is a lot. So he's all like, "Hey, man, I saw what happened to you on ESPN. That sucks. I can't send you to Brazil, but my sports anchor is going to Brazil. If you're interested in covering her on the weekends, I got something for you." So my news director in San Diego at the time, Lourdes Sandoval, who also, great. She gave me my first gig in San Diego. She said, "Okay, like, you want to work in LA on the weekends, that's fine, but you still got to do your job here in San Diego." So I was working Monday through Friday in San Diego doing the morning show. I was working from 4 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. And then at Fridays, I would drive up to LA, do the 6 and 11 p.m. I would do the 11 p.m. news on Fridays. Then on Saturday, I would do 6 and 11. Then on Sundays, I would do the 6 live, record the 11, and then drive back to San Diego to start all over again. So that was my life for 2.5 months. And during that period of time, we did a couple of West Coast specials. And then that's where the vice president of news for Telemundo in the Bay Area saw me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so weird, man. Again, just like how God puts everything into place. And I created my LinkedIn profile, and it was so funny because somebody in San Diego told me, "Hey, you're not on LinkedIn, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." You know what? You should create a LinkedIn profile, put all your things there, and then anybody who's in media, just send them an invite. I'm like, okay. So I create, dude, and I sent, I don't know how many invitations to connect and stuff like that. And one of those people was the VP of Telemundo 48. And at the time he was looking for a sports guy. So he reached out and he said, "Hey, I saw that you asked for an invitation. I saw you on Univision, and I know that you are not one of the main guys. You're just a fill-in guy. I'm looking for a main sports guy. Would you want to move to San Jose?" At the time, I had already become a U.S. citizen. We were already thinking about going back to Tijuana, and like thousands upon thousands of Tijuanenses do.
Yeah.
You live in Tijuana, you work in San Diego. So that's what we were thinking about doing. And I told my wife, "Guess what, baby? We're not going south. We're going north." And we moved to San Jose after the World Cup was done and everything. We moved to San Jose August of 2014. And I got there just in time to cover the Giants first World Series. So that was like my first assignment to cover the Giants World Series. And that was dope. That was just a fun thing to do. And honestly, like, just the entire time that I was in the Bay Area, I was just blessed, man. I got to cover the Warriors 4 times in the NBA Finals. I got to cover Super Bowl 50, Stanley Cup Finals for the San Jose Sharks. The MLS took their All-Star game, Copa Centenario. Also, Copa Oro was there. Unfortunately, I got to see the 7-1 live.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
Oh, that never happened.
Yeah.
That game got canceled. I don't know if you remembered. It was a giant thing.
Yeah.
Perdieron los chilenos por the foul.
And one of the best things from that game is, I mean, throughout this whole process, I've gotten to meet my heroes. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, I know that they say a lot. You're like, don't meet your heroes because you're going to be disappointed, right? And I can tell you, man, like, I've met people that I've looked up to that I saw play, and they've always been super cool, and they've taken the time to say hello. They've taken the time to speak into me and to be like, "Man, you can do this, you focus on that," and everything. And it's been really surprising, and I'm very thankful. And one of the stories from that 7-1 that I just love, bro, Beto Garcia Aspe, I met him in 2010. And I asked him for a selfie when selfies still didn't exist. So I still have that picture like this, but it wasn't called. It was just like, "Can I take a picture with you?" Right? Anyway, so he was sitting in front of me with the staff from Fox Deportes, if memory serves me right. I don't remember where he was working at the time. He's with Fox Deportes now, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So anyway, we were watching the game. First goal goes in, and he starts cussing. And dude, Beto Garcia Aspe, I kid you not, bro. If you give him some shorts and cleats, he will go in there.
Yeah. Like,
man.
It's that generation. Que le vale. Let's go.
So, first goal goes in. Second goal, I think it was on the 5th goal or 6th goal, he took his credential off. And he, like, threw it there. He's like, "Yo no voy a entrevistar estos cabrones." He, like, stormed off.
Oh, shit.
And I was like...
Oh, my goodness.
Damn.
That's amazing.
And oh, dude, yeah, man. That was like, so, and that was one, right? And then when the U.S. played Mexico in the Copa CONCACAF in the final.
Mm-hmm.
He was there again in the press suite, and one of the things in the press suite, they don't let you cheer, because you're press, you're neutral, right? And again, Mexico scores the first goal, and a lot of people were like, "Ugh!" And then U.S. scores the goal, and they were like, "Ugh!" And then when Mexico went on top again, like Beto, it's like, "Guys, Mexico," and everything. And then they had a CONCACAF usher, this young man who obviously knew nothing of soccer, and he goes to Beto, and he's like, "Sir, if you don't quiet down, we'll take away your credential. You'll be escorted off the stadium." And everybody's like,
Uh-oh.
He's talking. It's like, he doesn't know. He's like, shh, let's just see what happens. Oh, bro. Este no sabe con quién está hablando. And he just sat and he just watched the game, dude. But anyway, it's been a lot, several fun things that I got to live and experience. And throughout that, and with all the work and the sacrifice from my family side and the opportunities that God blessed me with, came a lot of things. I always wanted an Emmy. And that was a goal of mine. Got the opportunity to win 6, and then Tijuana really just Tijuana knocked it out of the park. Last 2 years ago, they inducted me into the Tijuana Walk of Fame, which was something so special for me because winning the Emmys was amazing, and that was a personal goal. But getting recognized, where by the people that know you, by the people that saw you come into this world, and Tijuana es tu ciudad, es tu gente. And that, honestly, dude, that to me was something really special. Just being recognized by my city, and that was just amazing. And I got bumped up to sports director in Telemundo after working hard and making sure that Telemundo Sports was known and that everybody knew that we had sports coverage as well. Because every time they saw Telemundo news van or the Telemundo microphone, everybody be like, "Oh, dude, telenovelas," and we're the fine ladies, and I'm all like, "Oh, bro, we're more than telenovelas and fine ladies. We got like sports too." So it did come to that point where I had to make a choice because I also had started working for the 49ers. I was their color commentator for their online channel, and that was amazing as well. Working with great people, Robert Alberino, man, just a great guy there with the 49ers, and Jesus Zarate and Matias and Enrique, everybody, dude. Honestly, it was just a great opportunity. So, I just made the choice. I told my wife, it's like, I feel like I need to pivot for a little bit. I need to focus on my kids. I have a baby girl. She's 9, baby boy, he's 7. I know a lot of people in the business do it, and they have amazing families, and they're very successful. But for me, I just felt like I needed to take a step back. And again, we thought that we were going back to Tijuana, but we're very involved in our church. We do have a ongoing relationship with Jesus, and we're not religious people, but we believe in God, and we just love our church so much that when we make the decision to go back to Tijuana, we spoke to our pastors, and our pastors were like, "Hey, man, our church is growing, and we'd love for you to help us grow and plant a church, a Vive campus in Austin." So we said yes. It took me a couple of days. It wasn't super quick. It took me a couple of days. So we talked about it. We moved to Austin 15 months now, and here we are now in Austin. So it was from sports director to campus pastor. And a lot of people were like, "Wait, what?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a campus pastor now."
Yeah.
And it's been fun, man. It's been fun growing the church. It's been fun learning something completely different. But, the passion is there for sports and everything. And one of the many friends that I've made in this walk was John Barbon.
Yeah.
And we connected over Instagram. And dude, we've been back and forth for, I don't know, man, for a couple of years. Like, dude, we should do something. We got to do something, and we got to figure out something. And then in one of the conversations, like, ¿por qué no? ¿Por qué no hacemos un podcast? ¿Por qué no hacemos ya algo? And that's where the name for the podcast came from. ¿Por qué no? And he's a great guy, and he honestly one of the many friends that the sports world gives you, and we've been able to work together on several things, and this is just one of them. The podcast that we're doing weekly now, we are 5 episodes in, so we're like obviously podcast veterans now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
and that's that's where we're at, man. I hope I didn't put you guys to sleep or anything.
Oh no, man.
Honestly, like this whole time is like, if I can have one of the things that you just let us know about it, that with hard work and sacrifice and deservedly so went through and experienced, like that's honestly what we're trying to do, man. And so we did talk a little bit through Instagram and just like how you dig what we're doing, and we really appreciate that. And that's what we're trying to do is, look, man, like, empezamos esto, vato, straight up. Like, we tell everybody to get press passes for the 2026 World Cup. That's the dream.
Yep.
That's the dream. We got time. We got everything. Ahí vamos. We got San Diego Loyal here in San Diego and 1904 and a couple of things going. But it's that love for it. And honestly, like, it's that hard work that, it's going to get us places. And it pays off, honestly. Like I said, that if I can have one of the things like that, like, if you got to see Aspen just loses marbles just because we're losing first 7-1, or the other way around because we're beating those no good U.S. Men's national team guys. But no, like in this new podcast venture that you guys have with John Barbon. So, want to tell us a little bit about the podcast? I know you guys don't just specifically talk about sports. I have caught a couple episodes, and not even like I was not expecting when I first heard it to hear John Barbon have a conversation about NFL football and stuff.
Yeah, so that's friends push each other to learn about more and different things, and I feel like that's been the constant thing with John. It's like he's pushed me because he tells me when something's not good. You have friends that are like, dude, that's awesome. And it's really not.
Yeah.
So one thing that I've come to appreciate from him is the fact that, he'll tell me when something sucks. And when something is like, dude, yeah. So I'm like, okay. And then from my side, it's like I've pushed him more to be like, all right, dude, let's talk about something more than football. Let's also talk about football. And yeah, the podcast, honestly, we want to talk about a little bit about everything. So that's why we also tried looking for a universal name where we can fit football, NBA, anything happening around the world that we might find interesting. And that's the heart behind it, man. I feel like sometimes we can encapsulate ourselves talking about just one thing when honestly we're so much more. We're so much more than one subject. We're so much more than one passion. We're just so much more. And I think that's one of the great things about, working with people who are willing to grow, who are willing to learn. And just like this project that we're also doing with Diego. And then also Edgar Lara jumped on 2 weeks ago, El Cuca. And it's been awesome, man. Honestly, like, we see things that get our attention, and then we just throw the name at it. Like, why not talk about Kaepernick?
Exactly.
Why not talk about the fact that he signed a contract with Disney, which honestly, that just blows my mind. And I think that's amazing. And I can't wait to see what kind of content they produce. And like, why not talk about Mahomes? Let's break his $503 million contract down and stuff like that. So, the podcast does talk about a little bit about, football, and it does talk about MLS soccer, and it does talk about NFL and NBA, and we'll be talking about anything and everything that really gets our attention within the sports world, or that might be happening around the world. And honestly, guys, I mean, they're in San Diego. You guys have Landon Donovan, which is also another amazing guy I got to meet, and he broke my heart in 2002. Oh, and when he was playing with when he was playing with Leon, he came to he went here to Austin. He went over to Avaya Stadium, and I got to interview him there. And it's one of the few people that you really get like starstruck, because it's like, dude, it's freaking Captain America, man.
Yeah.
Man, it's like, so I meet him and I interviewed him, and I tried to stay professional as long as I could. And then once the camera was off and I made sure the mic was off, I'm like, hey, bro, I got to tell you, man, you broke my heart in 2002. And it's like, I hated you for several years. And now I meet you and you're like the nicest person ever, bro. It's like, I'm like so confused right now. And I don't know what to do. Super chill guy. Like, he even made a video for John Barbon. And he said, what's up to John? And like, he's like, yeah, sure, let's do a video. And yeah, okay. And he's such a great guy. And you guys have him there in San Diego, bro. So, I mean, you guys gotta get him on and interview him and everything.
Oh, so it's funny. The first time we met him was at the SD Loyal Reveal Kid party. and we actually did get to ask. He had to ask him a few questions. First thing he tells him while we're recording is, "Hey man, I mean, Jalisco's sacred to me." And he told him, and I remember you had that.
Te miestas en el Jalisco, güey. Like, ¿por qué te miestas en el Jalisco,
He
güey?
straight
Like,
up told him that.
Like,
That's the
first time meeting him.
Oh my god!
And so I'm like, and I told him, like, I'm gonna fight I'm gonna stay professional. Like, this is our first, second week becoming a podcast. This podcast has been here for 5 months ish.
That was when we were barely starting.
We didn't know what we were doing.
We were doing phone mics and everything. Like,
yeah, exactly. Phone mics. And so we stick a phone mic into Landon's face, who we call our best friend. He knows it too. He's the best friend of the podcast. And so first of all, también, like, I don't know how you felt about this, is I didn't really realize how he looked in person. So when I saw him in person, maldito nano, güey. Este fue el vato.
I mean, this dude's 6 feet tall, and Landon's what, like 5'6",
5'7". I don't even know, man. So I'm like, this is the dude that did this to us? El 2-0. Oh, man. And then we also have Jimmy Conrad, who's a friend of the podcast, too. And he scored on San Osvaldo. And you know, on his media side, he always rolls that same clip, assisted by Donovan. But see, now he's our best friend. We have to keep it composed and have him on the podcast. But no, he's a great guy, and mi calmado vato, like, again, gives you a good sense of, you know, they're people too, and you know, I don't know how I didn't, like, completely just crap on myself when I was meeting him, being starstruck, because I have a mode where I can just be like, okay, you're just another person, and this is how it is, and this and this and that, and sure. But then after, I was just like, I just talked to Landon Donovan. Like, he's the LeBron. Man, right? Yeah, like, oh, damn.
Yeah,
like,
we actually got him to say, hey guys, this is Landon Donovan, and you're watching Two Balls in the Mic, which is pretty cool.
Oh, there we go. See, that's the thing, dude. And that's the awesome thing. And you guys have him right there in San Diego. And another guy that you guys should definitely, like, meet, Nate Abarea, man. I don't know if you already had a chance to meet him.
Yeah. So,
great guy.
Yeah, it was actually, so when this pandemic started, we started the podcast a month in, and then sports died because of the pandemic. So it's like, well, what do we do now? So we held a virtual FIFA tournament, and Nate was actually a participant in that tournament, where he just, you pick a horse, and we play computer versus computer, and whoever wins the tournament. And he was a participant. Great guy, man. Great guy.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so
that's awesome. And, you know, I really like what you guys are doing. And honestly, like, I love the fact that you guys have a very clear goal, and that always helps. You know, envision yourselves there and build towards that.
Yeah, so I mean, I wanted to ask, what would be, like, the greatest piece of advice you would give us in this journey? Because we're really starting, and we're trying to get kind of like everything that you went through. We kind of want to experience that, you know. So, what would be kind of like a tip that you would give us?
Don't be afraid to start the conversation. Like, if you guys are at a press conference, if you guys are at an event, sometimes I feel that, you know, you wouldn't want to talk to somebody, or you wouldn't want to ask somebody that you might see or a reporter that you guys respect or admire. You know, it's like, never be afraid. Never be afraid to go and be like, hey, hi, you know, Alejandro from Two Balls in a Mic. Nice to meet you, man. Really like your work. What's up? You know, because you never know, man, what doors that might open and what surprises that might give you. I mean, I got to meet Ivan Casanseo, and man, you know, and when he was in Univision, he was always the villain. You know, he was like El Conde Kai. He was always like being the controversial dude and all that stuff. And he, we were doing a Team USA coverage once, and I walked up to him and I said, "Hi, mucho gusto, Gabriel Sotelo." Man, again, bro, it's like the nicest guy. Gave me so many tips. And then his camera guy watched my segment that night, and then the next day when we saw each other again, like, he's giving me tips. It's like, hey man, I saw that you stand this way when the camera comes in, and it's like, you know, I think that you should totally, like, maybe stand a different way, and then how about you turn like this to the camera and everything. And cool. It's like, great people, bro. So honestly, one thing I can tell you is, like, when you're starting out, don't be afraid to connect. Don't be afraid to reach out. Some people are going to answer. Some people don't. And don't take it personal, man. Yeah. I mean, honestly, one of the things that I think I've learned is that the people that are here to grow and they're not just here to grow themselves. They're here to grow all those around them. They're going to help you out and stuff like that. And yeah, there are some insecure people that might not want to share or say hi or talk too much or get buddy or whatever. But that's okay. You know, there's a little bit of everything. Also, just working in sports. Like another thing that I can tell you, for example, we were in the mix zone waiting for the players to come out. Pretty sure it was a Copa America Centenario game. It was Argentina, and I don't remember who they played at Levi's. Everybody was there. You know, we were all waiting for the players to come out. And Rodo Landeros, man, from Fox Sports, bro. I kid you not. He goes, "Oh, qué gusto ver a Katia, a Javi, señor Sotelo de aquí a la Bahía. ¿Cómo estás?" Dude, he knew everybody who was standing there by name.
Wow.
You know, and those are the kinds of things that you're like, dude, they know who they're working with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like you get to meet these genuine people, man. So it's always, just don't be afraid to start the conversation and always be willing to lend a helping hand to somebody, whenever you guys are covering an event or something.
Absolutely. We actually, we're fortunate that San Diego Loyal has been super nice and super great to us because, again, somos dos vatos que, así nomás de la nada, we were like, hey, let's make a podcast. And we're like, all right, cool. Just so we can start sending emails. And we got the press passes and we're technically accredited media. And, we're on technicalities. I even switched my major into communications now at San Diego State so I can,
there we go.
do something about it. And I'm one of the only people in the world that still listens to AM radio religiously at 6 a.m. So just little things like that we're trying to make ourselves, let's say, legitimize ourselves, which is a question I wanted to ask. You've worked in sports media, let's say,
yep.
Mainstream sports media per se. We're not necessarily that. We're the new kids on the block. This is the internet. How does mainstream sports media or people that work for clubs, professional teams, I wouldn't say loyal because they're brand new, and I can see why they would allow somebody like us to go in. But somebody established like the Giants, the 49ers, even San Jose, the Galaxy, like how do they perceive, I guess, these types of programs and shows, which I heard it was more like a fan media or something like that.
Well, the thing is also, sometimes teams only have a certain amount of space, in mix zones and in their press boxes and everything. And I mean, I can tell you that the name of a network does carry some weight, but you got to work for it, man. You got to build a brand. And one thing is that the team has to trust you. And that's something that, I mean, you guys are gaining that with, San Diego Loyal. You guys are gaining that, and the only way you will keep that is, yes, asking the hard questions, but not looking for those 2 minutes of fame.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the times it's like one of the things that makes professional teams or established teams fear podcasts like the ones that we are doing now is the fact that, I mean, we're not going to get fired. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like, we're not going to get fired from Por qué no. You guys are not going to get fired from Two Balls and the Mic. And sometimes they really just look for that, like, oh, so is it true that you hate your coach? Tell me about that. It's like, no, man.
Yeah.
So it's really a lot about that. And the worry sometimes goes towards that because, I mean, even people that work in media sometimes ask some pretty outrageous questions. Now imagine us that we really don't have anything to lose because, we don't have to abide by any network's guidelines except our own.
Yeah.
So it's really that, it's really just being very respectful of the fact that they're giving you that trust, and the word gets around. The word gets around, man. Like if you guys are going to do a player interview or a coach interview and the coach is happy and he feels comfortable, not that you guys just softball him the whole time. It's like, if you got to ask, ¿por qué te orinaste en el estadio? You got to ask him. It's like, si el vato se mió.
Yeah.
It's like,
which he said he had a foggy memory. He didn't remember, and we'll just give him the benefit of the doubt there. Yeah, exactly.
I tripped and I slipped and I peed. Right. Okay. But it's just that, man. I really do feel like the teams sometimes worry about that, and with all, they have a reason why. They've had some pretty bad experiences with established people in the media. So I think that, for example, you guys that have that access to SD Loyal, as teams go to San Diego and as you guys are able to connect with other teams, the word will get around. It's like, hey, these guys from Two Balls and the Mic are asking me for an interview. Should I do it? And then they'll be like, oh, yeah, dude, they're great interview. Here's their work. Check it out. It's like they've been covering us for 2 years and they've always been very respectful and everything. So it is a give and take. It's like they'll give you access and everything, and it's like you got to be respectful, and I think as time goes over, you guys will know like when to say things, when not to say things. One of the funnest teams that I got to cover was the San Francisco Giants, because they had a lot of Latino players. They had a lot of Venezuelan players when I was there, so it was a lot of people speaking Spanish. Not with me, but at me.
Yeah.
I would walk in the locker room, and once they knew I was Mexican, they're like, "Hey, wait, wait, It's like stuff like that, And it was really funny, man, But it came to a point. At first, they were really standoffish, but once they knew that I wasn't one of those guys that was gonna be like, and today Pablo Sandoval didn't want to sit next to Gorkis Hernandez, so let's create some drama or something. Once they knew I wasn't that guy, they felt free to have their own conversations while I was there, standing in the locker room. And you need to be respectful. You just need to know when not to cross that line.
That's solid advice, man. That's honestly, it's coming from somebody who's been through it all, and that's why I like hearing these stories of people like us, that come from, even like as close as, and from Tijuana, San Diego area, and just how, you've been able to manage to build yourself up and to be able to have that option to say yes or no to things when opportunities come through. And that's something that for me, I like having options, being able to say yes or no to two different things. And that's honestly a privilege. But until then, you gotta work it out.
Yeah, so if you worked obviously with like TV outlets like Telemundo, Univision, etc., and now you're starting your podcast. So what have you enjoyed more about doing a podcast than you probably didn't enjoy like for Telemundo? Like, were there restrictions in Telemundo that you feel free that you're able to do in your podcast?
Well, one of the cool things is that I was blessed. Sorry about that. There we go. Bless you. Talking about being blessed. One of the cool things is that when I was working in Telemundo, my news director, she gave me a free editorial line. Nice. And that was pretty rare. I mean, to me, it was normal that I could put in whatever I wanted and take out and be like, no, I'm not going to put that on. But then when I started talking to other sports anchors, they're like, no, dude, I can't cover that. Or no, dude, they tell me no. So for me, it was really cool that I could put whatever I wanted. And I had like free editorial line in that. And they really trusted me with that as well. So that was amazing. But to answer your question, I'll do it during this in the podcast. I mean, people have asked me, it's like, hey, do you miss television? And yeah, I mean, obviously, not going to lie, there's some things that I miss. But what I missed the most was the conversations. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I've enjoyed of doing Por Qué No and jumping into this new project and launching it, and not just the people that I get to do it with, but also just having that conversation again, having that back and forth, because we're friends, but when that podcast light comes on and we're recording, it's like, nah, man, you're my buddy, but I don't have to agree with you with everything, and I'm gonna call you out. And like what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, I think they called me out blatantly because we had a pretty heated conversation. I think it was like 2 years ago, and I said that club would never win anything. Mm-hmm. And it's like, and then Diego went, yeah, exactly. It's like, he'll never win anything. And that's pretty much, he's won everything.
Yeah.
So, it's that, I think that it's not necessarily something that I didn't like to do in Telemundo, or there was something that limited me. Not really. I mean, honestly, they gave me a patch of land, and they're like, bro, do whatever you want with it. And that was awesome. I took full advantage of that. I reached out to everybody when I barely got there to the Bay Area, and I introduced myself to everybody. and I sent emails. And like I said, some people responded and helped. Some people never even answered the email. And you know, it is how it is. You know.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a doggy dog world out there. Like we say, you know, sometimes there's enough piece of the pie for everybody to have a seconds, but you know, you still got to fight for it. You still got to fight for it, and nothing's ever guaranteed and given. Let me ask you. You know, you said you're from. You said. Lo más dices según, ¿no es cierto?
Según tú.
Según tú, lo que dices, eras de Tijuana, but and then you studied over there. You have a really good lack of English, Spanish accent. How did you learn English, or did you come up with English, or because I noticed on the podcast you'll be talking, it's like, oh pues sí que esto Johnny que Diego que no sí lo puedes encontrar en Twitter and then lo puedes encontrar en Instagram and so like so I'm like, oh, like you just hear that. How did you learn, or you've always known English?
And it cracks me up, man, because just in the episode that we shared today, we shared our 5th episode today. Diego gave me a hard time. He's like, yeah, búsquenos en Spotify, no sé qué. And then I finished my whole thing. And then Diego's all like, ¿en dónde, Gabriel? Oh, dude, shut up, man. It's like, you know, Spotify. It's like, whatever. So funny thing. Well, you know, so I was born in Tijuana, and I lived I lived there for 27 years before moving to the States. Now, as I already told you, it was like born, raised, studied, everything in Mexico. But 2 things. One, growing up, there's only 2 TV stations. Canal 6, Fox.
Come on.
Canal 12, Televisa.
Yes.
That was it, baby. That was it. So mom would put Televisa on. I was like, dude, this it's like, I don't like Louis Infantil. Like, no.
Te veo terrified me.
Fox. Oh, dude. I mean, you know, it's like the eyes were like not even.
Los malditos dientes, güey.
Yeah, dude. So I would flip it over, man. And I mean, English wasn't integrated into the Spanish educational curriculum until I was in the 7th grade. So I started with Dennis the Menace, Transformers, G.I. Joes. That was my first school of English, just cartoons, bro. I mean, that's how I learned. And it cracked me up because I got that question several times when I would cross a border and like CBP officers would grab my tourist visa. Mm-hmm. Like, purpose of visiting United States? It's like, oh, I'm going to go visit a cousin. How do you know English? You know, and then they look at the card again to make sure it was a tourist visa and not like something else. Like, how do you know English? I was like, I learned it out of TV. And then I started taking classes when I was in 7th grade. And also, I have a cousin who's my age. Well, he's older, and he hates it when I say that. He's older. He's 4 whole months older than I am. So, you know, I grew up with him, and he actually was kind of a bit opposite of me because he was born in Chula Vista in Tijuana. He was born there, and he was raised there, and then he lived in Mexico for a little bit, but then he did most of his life in the States. So I really never had that whole, oh, I don't want to talk because they're going to look at me funny or laugh at me. So that really helped me develop it. But, you know, you'll hear the accent, and it peeks out once in a while. And then sometimes I'll be having a conversation and look over at my wife and be like, hey, ¿cómo se dice esto?
and that's something that I also pick up because I didn't really learn English until the 4th grade because I went, yo fui a la escuela allá, yo todos los lunes, la ceremonia del juramento de la bandera,
estar en la escolta.
I know the long version of the Mexican national anthem. I mean, you know, and yeah, it's same thing. Like I learned actually from KPBS. Like I could tell you what time it was depending on what show was on KPBS. And you just start learning. And again, I've been asked like, hey, you know, where's your accent? Like, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware that I needed an accent.
I have an accent.
Yeah, no, tú tienes un maldito acento. Tienes uno para en la frente y en la boca, güey. La spray, vamos a ir a la school.
Nah, for me it was different. Like I grew up. I was born in LA, but I grew up in TJ. Like
y ni así hablas inglés, güey.
The first 10 years of my life, and I started. My dad wanted us to learn English, so he brought us to school when I was in 4th grade. And I mean, from there I just learned through school. You know, like almost everyone that moves over here. But yeah, but for me, like, it wasn't really like learning through TV and all that because all I did when I was in TV was playing soccer in the street.
Yeah.
You know, like siendo travesuras, a ding dong ditch and all that. But hearing this experience, I'm like, dude, like, I wish I like.
You missed out.
I wish I watched all those TV shows too. You know.
You might religiously understand when I describe Arthur episodes verbatim, the entire things to you.
Hey man, what I keep telling people is, as long as they can understand Spanish, they're on the safe side, man. I mean, who cares if you can't speak it properly, dude? Just as long as you understand what's going on, that's a big advantage.
No, definitely, and that's a big advantage that for us in media as well, because we can picture ourselves like, hey, you guys have all these people in English and this. Pues sabes que pues nosotros tenemos la gente que habla en español y no nomás en español, porque como dices, hay gente que pues habla que, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están? Hoy vamos a verte. Oh, no, güey. ¿Qué onda? Este maldito equipo valió pa' pura. And then you can talk in different ways. It's not even like just Spanish. It's different types of Spanish. And so it's a really cool tool. Sometimes I take for granted the fact that I learned English and Spanish and can speak both well.
Hey man, I'm not bad.
And it does open doors, man. So Telemundo is sister stations with NBC. They're both owned by Comcast.
Mm-hmm.
So in certain stations, not everywhere. I think San Diego is one of them. And then, for example, Us in the Bay is another one. We share the building with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was amazing, dude. I mean, during the to do sports for NBC as well. And that is something that I never in my life I would envision myself doing sports in English, because let me tell you guys, I mean, I was terrified. First time I did anything in English, I did like a 2-minute segment and it was recorded.
Oh.
It wasn't even live.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I think I was as nervous as, man, I mean, I my hands were not sweating. They were wet. Like I couldn't touch my pants. And I'd never done anything in English before. But again, it's like getting the opportunity and just be like, I'm scared, I'm terrified, but I got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to jump in.
It's completely different. Like even talking about a game in English than it is in Spanish. Because I want to say maybe 2 years ago, I actually went with a buddy of mine, TJ. Chivas had like Chivas TV auditions. And I went with my friend. We're like, dude, let's try it out. You never know. Maybe they get us. Like, we're super Chivas or diehard Chivas fan. And they go in, and Chivas are actually playing a live game against Pumas. And they're like, you know what? Like, this audition's going to be different. You're just going to be narrating the live game, and we're going to record you. So I told them, I'm from Chula Vista, and they made me do it in Spanish. And then they're like, we want to see you do it in English. And in English, it was just...
he gets the ball.
Especially with my accent, I'm like, gets the ball. And then for me, my luck was there was an injury for like 5 minutes. So I'm like, so the player's still on the ground. Like I never. They told me that they might have they might do like an English version of Chivas TV, which I haven't heard of. But I mean, I never got a call back. But it was a pretty dope experience, honestly.
Sounds cool.
Heck yeah, man. I could imagine that, dude. And the player is still pretending to be hurt or injured.
He moves to his side.
Yeah, and then to my surprise, I mean, I knew the lineup from Chivas, but I didn't know what the lineup was from Pumas.
There we go.
So I was like, all right, and the Pumas player gets it, and I was like, man, I didn't do so good, but I really enjoyed doing that. But yeah, like in Spanish, you get to add that flavor, and you think in Spanish, you think Pedro Bermudez, and you're like, this guy's like,
yeah, man.
Like, man, aficionados. Like, I know you do a really good impression of him. But
yeah, I don't even know why you tried one.
But in English, you can't add that flavor.
And that's another thing, guys, that, I started working with a lot of interns there at Telemundo, and it was amazing having an opportunity to talk to them and to hear their hearts out and everything. And another thing that I can tell you is that don't let anybody intimidate you of your knowledge, because right now you said, Alejandro, it's like, well, I was surprised I knew it. Bro, I mean, you're not going to know everything. Mm-hmm. And that's another thing that I'm always telling you, like, especially when like we had interns or we had college students come over or anything at the station, it doesn't matter if you don't know anything. You can prep for it. I mean, if you don't prep for it, then, you're screwed. But, dude, you can prep for it. You can study. So it doesn't matter if you don't know anything. And the beautiful thing is, guys, that nobody And like, I'm serious, guys. Nobody will be able to tell the San Diego Loyal story like you can. And that is something that you will have.
That's
right. And only nobody. So don't let any big shot TV company, anybody intimidate you. That it's like, oh, you don't know that? Oh, you weren't there? Oh, you didn't do that? You're living your own story. And honestly, as I grew with sports and I got to cover more things and do more things, that's how my knowledge grew. That's how I went to it. I mean, I was devoted to it. I would prep for interviews and I would study up on games. And yeah, maybe I only did a 2-minute and 45-second segment every day, but man, I poured my heart and my soul to every single segment I did. And I made sure I did research and got to produce a sports show, got to produce a baseball show. It's like, dude, when I started working in the Bay Area, I knew the Padres and I knew Tony Gwynn and I knew what a single and an RBI and a triple were and you know, all that stuff. But then I never thought in my life that I would be producing a baseball show. And I ended up producing a baseball show. But again, if you study and if you prep for it, it's okay, man. And I'm serious, guys. You are I'm really excited for you because I know that you're in a privileged position because you're seeing something start from nothing.
Yeah.
You know, so the only thing now, it's like, hopefully they'll be able to vote and get a decent stadium going because I know that, man, that's been what's that name of that movie? The Never Ending Story?
Yeah.
There in San Diego. It's like, come on, just get a stadium already.
Yeah, so they did get SDSU West, which is going to be the football team for San Diego State, that can be used for other sports. But today, actually, the San Diego Loyal and partner with the city, and they have 2 different plans to buy the Midway. So pretty much it's the area on Sports Arena. So and they released two renderings for an actual stadium for the San Diego Loyal, an updated arena, and it seems like, you know, the wheels are starting for that, and so that's something really exciting and something, like I said, they're barely starting as well. If you really think about it, the amazing thing of this team is that they've been alive for 9 months in the making, and they are already in the middle of a season, and it's really incredible.
And one of the things that I think that also soccer in general here in the States has done brilliantly is get soccer purpose stadiums, build their own facilities, you know, not be like the uncomfortable uncle that's staying over at the stadium. It's like, all right, well, you know, if you got to use it. Yeah. And then you have like a million lines on the field that you don't know if it's football or rugby or what is that on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, I actually did see some of the renderings and the plans. And one of the things that I liked is that it's a 15,000 person stadium. So it's not that they're going for a 60,000 person stadium. I mean, I think it's a realistic plan. Hopefully people get behind it. I mean, I know it's a huge challenge in San Diego, and that's one of the reasons why the Chargers are not there anymore. It's like it's a huge floating population in San Diego. You know, you have a lot of military families. You have a lot of families who are from Tijuana, a lot of families who are from even more south of Mexico. So, you know, they're maybe not too interested in, and they don't feel like maybe their taxes need to pay for their stadiums. You know, it's like, especially now with Cholos being such a good product, and people being like, why am I going to root for another team if I got Cholos? You know, so hopefully, man, I'm serious, guys. Like, I really hope that one of those plans does pass, because I think San Diego would just be amazing. I think it would thrive.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, just think of the rivalries, dude. Just having Cholos next door and go head to head.
El clásico de la línea. I mean, like, it writes itself. I tell everybody that the 1904. Like, there's so much potential here in San Diego, and
it's such a big soccer city.
Yeah, like, and this town, man. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure, Gabo, you know, you remember El Nacional de Tijuana. You remember just.
Oh yeah.
You know, when the baseball stadium where Toros play now was a soccer stadium, and we had Chivas.
I got to see Trotamundos, bro. Yeah, man. So yeah, Trotamundos de Tijuana.
Trotamundos, you know. Salcones en el Romero Manso. When Dorados played in el IMDET and por la vía rápida. I mean.
Dang, man. Okay, yeah, that's way.
Hey, para que veas. Like, I've been around.
What was that? Tijuana All Stars.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chivas
Tijuana, which I thought was the real thing. We thought it was the real thing, but it wasn't.
You were lied to.
I was lied to. But no, it's an area that really desperately needed something. I'm glad Cholos is there now, but this side also needs it because there's a lot of talent here. Just like it's a hotbed for baseball here in San Diego, it's an even hotter bed for soccer. And I think this area is what's gonna help this. I mean, it sucks. It's gonna help the U.S. national team.
Well, I mean, that's going to be up to the parents.
Yeah.
I think it's like, vas a jugar para México ya, mijo. That's actually one of the other things that Cholos did really well. I remember like 8 years ago, I interviewed Joshua Abrego in the Olympic Training Center there in San Diego. And the reason why I went there is because Cholos had their school there. And I remember getting there, Joshua had some time with the kids and stuff like that. And there were hundreds of kids. And I asked one of the trainers, it's like, hey, so how many months have you guys been having your, soccer school here? He's like, oh, this is our second week. I was like, what? Wow. This is your second week and you already had 4 groups of like 50 kids training here? That just blew my mind. But eran los Cholos.
Sí.
No, they just won la Primera División A. Acaban de ascender, and everybody, it's like, and I asked some of the kids, it's like, dude, so okay, why are you coming here? It's like, porque es Cholos, y Cholos es mi equipo. Yeah. This coming from a 7-year-old kid, that's amazing. Yeah. You're able to instill an identity. You're able to instill a mentality that these colors are my team. It's like el rojo y el negro y de Tijuana, y aunque estoy aquí en San Diego, mi equipo es de Tijuana. So, I mean, if San Diego Loyal can do that, it's just start them young and everything. Start those academies, those U12, U14 academies. I think it's going to be amazing. Actually, speaking of that's what Austin FC is doing here. They're going to have their first season in 2021, and they've been working that farm system hardcore, and hopefully that some of those kids will rise up and be the base of this team.
And that's what's going to be the base of the U.S. national team in a couple of years, honestly. And that's good, honestly, because, as much as it pains me to say, you want to have a better competition you got to cut diamonds with diamonds. So if you have a good team over here, then that's going to eventually make Mexico better. But, I mean, it's a crazy time that we're in. I think that 2026 World Cup is going to be a real important landmark for U.S. soccer and just soccer in general, because if the U.S. really gets into it, man, there can be a global powerhouse. And I hate to say it, but I think potentially si se ponen los productos de gallina bien puestos, the U.S., man, I think they can win a World Cup before Mexico, and that hurts.
I mean, they already got to that 5th game that we so desperately want once, and it was at our cost.
At cost to us, yes. God, todavía me duele. Like I tell him, like his greatest loss is still no era penal. For me, my greatest loss was the first Argentina Mexico in 2006 con el golazo de Maxi Rodriguez on Osvaldo Sanchez.
That one hurt too. I saw that.
No, pero este me dolió. Hasta ahorita me duele más que el otro. The other one, no era penal. I was just hardened at that point. Like, I'm like, it's gonna happen. Just watch.
I'm used to it.
And with that 2006 game, man, it's like when Maxi scores that goal, I remember just watching the TV and I wasn't even mad. I was like, dude, that's a bomb goal. That's just. Pues ni pa qué me enojo.
Sí.
Así como que.
Si vas a perder, pues pierdes, sí, I guess. Pero God, like Osvaldo, like just tried his best. He tried, pero no más no. And then it was over. Oh.
And you know what? So we had El Pulpo Zúñiga on. He was our godfather for our podcast, and I asked him that question. He's like, could Osvaldo done more on that goal? Because I think by the time we recorded that episode, it was either one day past or the day of the 14th anniversary of that goal. And I was like, all right, so could have he done more or something? And Pulpo was just like, not really. I mean, you didn't intend for him to hit the ball from there.
Yeah.
It's like he was where he was where he was supposed to be. Yeah, and that's what he said. It's like, si la marca hubiera estado mejor, él no le hubiera pegado, o el defensa hubiera desviado la pelota. Entonces, no es tanta culpa de Osvaldo. O sea,
Fue un maldito golazo.
I forgive him now.
Yeah, no, definitely. I watched that replay because I that's my position. I'm a goalkeeper, and it hurt just to see, like, because this wasn't even like old Osvaldo. This was freshly off FIFA 05 cover boy Osvaldo.
Yeah.
So his prime. So era maldito Dios. And in the World Cup, after his father had just recently passed away, he had to fly back to Mexico and fly back in order to play, and he played amazing.
Campeón con Chivas, Osvaldo.
Yeah, man. I mean, and it's like such an emotional. Actually, that game against Iran, such an emotional game for him.
Yeah.
Winning that game and everything. And I remember him. I think he hugged Omar Bravo, if memory serves me right, and he was crying. And it was, again, a very emotional game. And yeah, me too, man. I thought that, San Osvaldo.
Yeah.
It's like, I did the same thing too, dude. In secundaria, I had like the hair with the up thing and all that.
Hell yes, man.
That was my haircut, bro.
San Osvaldo right here.
San Osvaldo.
Oh,
Signed
there
picture.
we go, bro.
He has that, and that bothers me because it's like that's my favorite players. Yo soy portero, and then
that's why I leave it here in the studio so you can see it every day. Dice
Mira,
para Alejandro
Mira,
Osvaldo
papi,
Sanchez.
What I get to see every day. There I am with the Spider-Man outfit. Saved so many goals on that.
Dice para Alejandro.
And it's pretty cool, bro. Because I'm a goalkeeper. Well, I played goalkeeper too growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I feel you, man.
See, I mean, and like we don't get the respect we deserve. That's why I don't know if we interviewed Rudo, who's a supporter for the Cholos, and he also has his
amazing guy, dude.
Yeah, super guy. Loved that guy. Saw his story, and again, another one of us. Viene de Tijuana, sabe. Le digo, hey, está esto, la taquería esta. Oh, sí, es like our people, man, and that's where I like to see people succeeding. And he has his Rudo's GK going on, his little brand for soccer, and I mean,
yeah, man, I saw those gloves, bro. They're dope, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure it out here in Austin in adult league, maybe if I can play or something. And yeah, dude, if I get like back in the game, I'm definitely buying a pair of gloves, man, because those things are like intimidating as can be, dude. They're dope. I like them.
Oh, definitely, man. So we usually have, as we kind of start wrapping it up, we usually have a question that I like to ask, my golden ticket question.
Yep.
So if you can have a golden ticket to any game, any type of sporting event in the past, and can't really do future, any game that you could have been there and been there live, you can use this golden ticket. What game would you have attended?
Dang, that's a great question. Any game that I could be in. So I think I'll go with one in the past.
Mm-hmm.
My dad raised me to be a local team fan, so I am a Padre fan. Yes, I am still a Charger fan because even though they're in LA, they're still the Chargers for me. And until they disappear, I will root for the Chargers. I've invested too much of my life. And then when Cholos came up, I started rooting for the Cholos.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there for the home game, but I wasn't there for the away game. So if I could go back and go to any game, I would love to be there and just see your team crowned in another team stadium.
Yeah.
Dude, that's money right there, bro. My older brother, for one of my birthdays, he gave me the ticket. He bought me the ticket to go see La Final de Ascenso contra Irapuato. So I was there when they lifted that trophy.
Yeah.
And that to this day was one of the most amazing birthday gifts that I've ever gotten, honestly. And I love my brother for that because he's always very mindful. It's like, this is what he likes to do. So he would always, my birthday was always like tickets for games. I was an easy sell.
Yeah, that's a great gift.
I think that's what I would do, man. I would go to that el partido de vuelta en la Bombonera, ir a ver a los Cholos en contra de Toluca y ver a Riascos aventarse ese segundo gol y Tijuana coronarse y ver al equipo levantar la copa y dude, that would be amazing, to be able to see that in person.
That's a good one. I was actually doing my was it knee rehabilitation because I had torn my ACL. My only big injury playing, and I was watching as that was happening. Nobody was paying attention to my knees. Everybody was watching the TV. Maybe that's why it's still messed up. No, but I definitely love it, man. Well, listen, I really appreciate you coming and having the time to talk to us. We would love to have you back. Honestly, we'd love your story. And, I mean, casi ya want to be our Obi-Wan. Where do we sign up for the Gabo mentorship program, bro? Because
man, great tips that you gave us.
Because this is honestly one of my favorite interviews that we've done, and like I said, I really hope that we can connect a little bit further down the line and have you back on, talk football. Because I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, fantasy football is coming around. Do you play fantasy football?
Unfortunately, I do. Unfortunately, I do, and I say unfortunately because man, these last couple of years have been brutal.
That's how you get John on it. That's how you get John on it to understand everything. Just throw him into fantasy football, and he's gonna love it. But if you want to go ahead and let everybody know where they can go ahead and find you on the interwebs.
Sotelo T48, G Sotelo T48 en Twitter, en Instagram me encuentran como Gabo Sotelo 05. And no, guys, thank you so much for the time, the space. Really appreciate you. And honestly, like, again, I love the fact that you guys have a clear set goal that's really going to help you push each other to get to that goal, and just keep working with the teams and keep working and keep connecting with the people around you. And trust me, man, it's like you guys are going to go far. You guys are starting with a good head of time of everything that you guys want to get to. And yeah, man, I'm here for you guys. Anything that I can share and anything that you guys can pick off of my experiences, trust me, I'm more than blessed and happy to do that. And again, it's like, if I don't grow and if I'm not here to help other people grow, then kind of missed it, man. And I think that sports is that. It's not about you being better, it's about your whole team being better. So we're one team, baby. Let's do this, man.
Definitely, man.
Appreciate that, man.
I love that. Appreciate it, man. And that's beautiful, honestly, man. Y pues a ver cuando estamos ahí en el ¿Por qué no podcast? Ojalá. Se habla español. But appreciate it, man. If you want to stick around a little bit after we finish up, just so we can wrap it up, just us, and we'll stop recording. Really appreciate it, man. Check them out. Thank you, man.
Thank you.